People want newspapers. Southern newspapers answer that need. To turn trees from the Canadian forests into paper requires the best of modern technology. To turn paper into a newspaper requires something more, a disciplined, creative drive. Our three newspapers cover a large part of the central south coast. The red section is the region covered by the Southern Evening Echo from the company's headquarters in Southampton's above bar. The blue section shows the region covered by the Evening Echo, Bournemouth, printed at this modern newspaper building in Richmond Hill, Bournemouth. And the green section shows the circulation area of the Dorset Evening Echo, which is published from St Thomas Street, Weymouth. Well over 500,000 people read the three echoes every evening, from Lyme Regis and Bridport in the west, to Leon Solent and Fareham in the east, including the Isle of Wight, and as far inland as Warminster and Basingstoke. Although this is the account of just one of these newspapers, the Southern Evening Echo, it could be any of them. Wherever people live, they like to read an evening newspaper. In the towns, in the villages, in the country. It's one of the most important threads in the mantle of regional identification. And everyone has their preference in what to turn to first. But do they ever wonder where all the news, articles, pictures and advertisements come from? How more than 100,000 words get into the Echo every night. It's not quite as easy as selling peas. Hub of news gathering and production of the Southern Evening Echo is the Southampton headquarters. In the reporter's room, furrowed brows and the urgent chatter of typewriters indicate that the day's news is beginning to take visual form. Copy takers in soundproofed boxes are typing out stories being phoned in by other reporters and correspondents. At the same time, more news is flowing in from the Press Association, a news agency in London where it is collected from every corner of the world, sifted and selected, and then sent over 6 channels onto these teleprinters. Photographs too come over the wire, where they're picked up by this photographic receiver. A photoelectric cell takes 13.5 minutes to transmit a picture onto a sheet of sensitized paper revolving on a drum. It goes to the darkroom for immediate printing. The television critic was doing some of his work yesterday evening. Enjoy your laugh, but it really is work. Viewing for him is neither a soporific nor a stimulant. It has to be an acute appraisal. Also in the features room, the chief leader writer checks a proof of his comments on a current controversy and takes it along to the editor's room for discussion. This reflects the opinion of the paper as opposed to factual reporting. Readers can be contributors also, by means of their letters. The editor, responsible down to the last full point for every item in the paper, reads them all. More stories come in from 7 branch offices and more than 100 part-time correspondents. Even in the remotest corner of Echo territory, someone is observing and recording. The net catches anything newsworthy happening anywhere. From a Hampshire game at the county ground to the arrival of a luxury liner at the ocean terminal. From magistrates' court proceedings to a fashion show. And a reporter's work, just like a woman's, is never quite done. A fire, an accident, a crime at any time, and he has to turn up. No one knows everything, and so the facts contained in more than 250,000 cuttings and over 500 reference books held in the library are vital to the fidelity and authority of the paper. $35,000 photographs are also on file for immediate use. being founded in 1888, every issue of the Echo has been bound into volumes and carefully stored. But after a story is written, it still has to face the searching, astringent scrutiny of the sub-editors. All-powerful pencils poised, they write the headlines, but these have to fit the space available, convey the substance of the story, and make sense into the bargain. They check the facts, tidy up grammar and punctuation, and mark up for type sizes and faces. Time is short, pressure great, but accuracy preeminent. A newspaper without pictures would be like a circus without the clowns, and a corps of staff photographers ensures that all events with pictorial potentialities are covered. Speed and the technicalities of turning a piece of film into a finished printing plate is essential, and developing and printing are carried out on the premises. But that's less than half the story. From here, the print goes to the process department on the floor below, where more photography and developing produce a special screened negative of any size required. This has a density of 60 dots to the inch, enabling tone values to be reproduced. When completely dry, the negative is transferred to metal in the printing frame. As the plate is washed, the image appears. After the surface has been hardened in the burning-in oven, the plate is placed in the bubble etcher. In 4 minutes, a mixture of acid and oil leaves it with a surface of raised dots, which will reproduce to form a picture. A router is used for shaping and making intricate cutouts. When time presses, as it does all too frequently, a printing block can be made in less than 20 minutes. A final check is made for flaws. But a newspaper is by no means only news and pictures. An important, indeed indispensable proportion is advertising. Without it, the price of the paper would have to be steeply raised, and quite a lot of the pleasure and excitement of looking through it, especially for women readers, gone. Advertisements are received at head office by virtually every means of communication other than cleft stick, and the many district offices receive them also. A representative calls on a customer to give him all the facts about the benefits of planned newspaper publicity and to assist with the writing and design of the advertisement. An artist prepares a layout and selects suitable illustrations. The publicity manager of a large store discusses a full-page announcement. Members of the department plan a future supplement with the advertisement manager. The positions the advertisements will occupy in the paper are carefully plotted. And as the news and advertising is collected and prepared, it is passed to the composing room, where the technicians now take over. In practice rhythm, the fingers of an operator move gently over the keys of one of the 24 linotype machines to transform the written word into solid lines of lead, antimony and tin. Many thousands are needed for every paper produced. Bigger lettering, used in headlines and displayed advertisements, is cast by these 3 Ludlow machines. An L-rod produces the rules and spacing material as much as a mile a day. At these frames, the compositors are busy building up display advertisements from type received from the linotype and Ludlow machines, from blocks and from hand-set type. A job requiring not only a lot of technical know-how, but a feeling for balance and design. An impression of every piece of typeset is taken to be checked against the original copy by the readers. Corrections are indicated, the offending lines reset, the piece checked again. A newspaper's mistakes are indelibly writ for all time. It can't be too careful. the morning progresses, the news, photographs and advertisements, now converted into metal, arrive at the stone, so called because it used to be made of stone, to be assembled into page format. With skill, ingenuity and an occasional curse, the stone hands fit all the bits and pieces into a metal frame to make up a complete page. Finally, it is tightly locked and passes to the stereotypers. It's their job to turn this mixed bag of individual fragments from its flat form into a curved plate to fit the rotary presses. A moulding press, exerting 320 tons of pressure, produces an exact impression in a papier-mâché-like sheet. The stone sub-editor swiftly checks the page layout and the headlines. Then onto the foundry on the floor below. First, for strips of packing to be applied, to have all moisture extracted in the dryer, and then to go into the autocaster holding 4 tons of molten metal. Seconds is all it takes to produce a semi-cylindrical cast. This machine, an auto shaver, shaves the inner surface of the cast to an accurate uniform thickness of 7/16 of an inch, cleans and cools it. The same procedure is carried out for the rest of the pages, cast in pairs, which can vary up to a maximum of 48. The cast is now ready for clamping onto a cylinder of one of the rotary printing presses. The press room is the heart of the newspaper, and just because the machines at the moment are silent, it doesn't mean that the leisured life is being enjoyed by the press hands while waiting for the page casts to arrive. Maintenance, cleaning up, and preparation for the run occupy all morning. Below the press room, a vast paper store holds just some of the 300 tons of newsprint always kept in stock. Here also are the lower decks of the presses, where the reels of paper, each weighing up to 1,700 weights, are loaded into the machines and automatically lifted into position. Back in the main press room, adjustments are made for ink flow. 36 tons of ink are used up each year. Soon, the last plate is in place, and everything is now ready to produce the only evidence that really matters of the efforts of the many interdependent departments. finger is all that's needed to start and control the printing press. In a few seconds, the presses have gathered speed, and to their resounding roar, the complete newspapers flow out. With all presses in use, it is possible to produce nearly 250,000 copies an hour. On a big day, 27 reels of newsprint are consumed, enough to stretch from Southampton to Manchester. In batches, the papers are carried to the publishing room to be tied into bundles and labelled. And the early edition, destined for the Isle of Wight, is away on time. 30 vehicles are needed to ensure that wherever in our circulation area people want the Echo, they can get it. This is only the first edition. There will be up to 6 more coming off the presses throughout the afternoon, all carrying later news and changes reflecting the life of the regions to which they're sent. Even when a news item arrives after the pages of an edition have been cast, it can still catch it by means of the stock press box. And so the 3 readers we saw at the beginning, 3 out of 300,000, get their evening newspaper. A paper which is reborn each evening to flourish but a short while. But that is the inevitable destiny of all newspapers. Soon the empty vans are returning to the garage. The staff starting to leave, and the cleaners invaded. Finally, nocturnal silence replaces the diverse noises of the day. But it is only the briefest of lulls. The true strength of the Echo is in its ability to recreate itself in a fresh, more vital mode daily. It is indeed new every evening.